red velvet cake, chocolate chip cookies, Fruit Loops, garlic bread, gravy, fried chicken, pancakes, sandwiches, and other favorite comfort foods. Right now, you're probably getting hungry, and people love these comfort foods. But here are some less appetizing words to pique your interest. Colon cancer, nutrient deficiencies, behavioral disorders, allergies, and chronic diarrhea. These are just a few disease conditions attributed to the consumption of gluten. When I was younger, I played competitive softball and would often play up to 3 games a day, sometimes more. In order to sustain energy for that much physical exertion, my mom would frequently feed me a bowl of pasta for breakfast prior to leaving for tournaments. Martina Navratilova, the tennis champion, once said that before she had a match, she would eat a whole plate of plain spaghetti to sustain her play. Carbohydrates converted to energy, so like Martina, my mother thought it would help me maintain my energy. She was wrong. What we didn't know then was that I have a severe gluten intolerance. So where am I going with all of this? Celiac disease. I was diagnosed as a celiac in 2012, and we learned that all of my life up to that point, the foods I was eating were slowly killing my intestines. Gluten's the culprit. What is that? What is gluten? It is a substance found in cereal, grains, especially wheat-based products. Gluten is also the agent that creates elastic texture of dough. Essentially, it's a modified food preservative. Gluten is in more foods than people realize, and it can be found in most processed foods such as sauce mixes, wheat flour, and hundreds of other foods that line grocery store shelves. Celiac disorder is an autoimmune disease causing one's own immune system to attack itself. The symptoms of a gluten intolerance that we now understand is the body's immune response to the consumption of gluten. If I eat foods containing gluten, my body attacks itself. My intestines swell, I sweat, I get hot, I break out in hives, among other symptoms. Like a peanut allergy, it's just a severe allergic reaction. Once I was finally diagnosed, we had answers to all of my health problems and could develop a nutritional strategy solution. The elimination of gluten from my diet was a must, and over time, my small intestine could begin to heal itself. Nowadays, if I accidentally consume gluten, my immune response is more severe and results in a couple of nights in the emergency room. Going gluten-free might be new diet fad for some, but for me, it's really a matter of living a normal and healthy life. With all of this said, I want to further explain why I believe you all should attempt a gluten-free diet. Celiac or not, it has 2 significant benefits: cost and your overall health. First, let's talk about the cost of going gluten-free. We have become a mobile society. Everyone is on the go, and so is our food. Manufacturers have evolved with our society to provide foods that can be prepared in less time and will cook faster. They use this glutinous preservative to extend shelf life so it can be widely distributed to grocery stores, fast food distribution centers, and eventually to our tables. Overall, reports show that manufacturing gluten-free foods can be 242% more costly for companies versus manufacturing products for mass consumption. Given this information, it becomes clear why many manufacturers are not eager to sell gluten-free products. Their profit margin is lower. As a result, when you do find gluten-free food on a store shelf, more often than not, you'll see a much higher price tag than its glutinous counterpart. For example, Betty Crocker now manufactures a gluten-free ready-to-mix cake mix. It costs about $6.50 at Publix. The price tag of its gluten-filled counterpart can be purchased at 2 boxes for $4. Gluten-free processed foods are almost double the cost of what I call normal people food. The overhead for manufacturers is less and the profit margins are high, but at what cost? Our health. Our health is the cost and we're paying the invoice. For those determined to eat gluten-free, buying overpriced gluten-free processed food leaves limited options. Public pressure for gluten-free foods must increase in order for food manufacturers to project a profit. That's despite the fact that plenty of available, more reasonably priced food, such as fruit, vegetables, dairy, and non-processed meats are naturally gluten-free. If people could commit to the time it takes to prepare a meal, one wouldn't have to think about going gluten-free. There is no gluten in a meal consisting of steak, potatoes, and vegetables. Unprocessed foods contain more nutrients and vitamins than their processed counterparts. The second, yet most important reason you should go gluten-free is for your health. I don't think it's a coincidence that the rate of cancer in the United States over the last 50 years commensurate with the rate at which we consume more processed foods. The National Cancer Institute projects that worldwide cancer deaths are projected to increase by 60% in 2030. 60%! Long-term intake of gluten may increase your risk of colon cancer, gastrointestinal cancer, cancer of the pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, rectum, liver, and the pancreas. Who wants that? By eating gluten, you may be accelerating your mortality and not even know it. The silver lining in this black cloud is that NCI reports in the United States cancer deaths fell by 13% between 2004 and 2013. Due to improved cancer treatment options, one's ability to survive cancer has improved. Celiac or not, cutting gluten from your diet will improve your digestive process. Neurological functions, it will reduce the inflammation in joints, pain in muscles, reduce your risk of associated cancers, and it will give you increased energy levels. The side effect you would most commonly experience is severe abdominal pain. Eating gluten causes inflammation in the small intestine, as well as the flattening of small intestinal villi, which reduces the amount of nutrients that can be absorbed, and it will result in malnutrition. The National Foundation for Celiac Awareness states that eliminating gluten reduces stomach upset, diarrhea, abdominal cramping, gas, bloating, and constipation. Besides intestinal and digestive side effects of ingesting gluten, the brain is also affected. Verywell.com states that eating gluten plays a major role in headaches, foggy thinking, ADHD-like symptoms, and even depression. The effects occurring in the brain are attributed to an inflammatory molecule called cytokines. These molecules are released when a person's immune response is activated. The more severe the illness, the more severe the response. You may have heard of the cytokine storm, linked to serious and deadly illnesses such as avian flu. It's the body's normal immune response that eventually kills the patient. Not only do physicians have to treat the disease, but also administer steroidal medications to suppress the immune system response known as cytokine storm. While not as immediately critical, the consumption of gluten by a person intolerant to the preservative, me, causes the immune system to institute and initiate cytokine release, which is detrimental to brain function and leads to Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and autism. Eliminating gluten from your diet promotes better health on so many levels. You've heard of some of the significant disease conditions associated with the intake of this product. Next time you're eating at a restaurant, you may want to challenge them by asking for a gluten-free menu to determine if they've made accommodations for people like me. I hope that this discussion has illuminated this issue for you and that it has persuaded even just one of you to attempt a gluten-free diet and a more nutrient-rich lifestyle. It will reduce your risk for the disease conditions I've discussed. I'm not going to beat around the bush. You're eating your way to an early death. It's bad. Instead of eating regular comfort foods, try gluten-free red velvet cake, a gluten-free spaghetti, gluten-free cornbread. You won't regret the effects you will have just days later. If you change your diet and lifestyle, you'll change your life. I can guarantee that. Good luck.